Every day, billions of us type a question into search engines, crave instant answers. But what if the very tool giving...
Publishers are sounding the alarm. Their traffic is plummeting, ad revenue is vanishing, and AI might be to blame. Are we trading convenience for the death of real journalism?
So we've got this stack of material here covering something, well, pretty fundamental that's changing how we all find information online. Think about how many times a day you type something into a search bar, looking for a quick fact, researching something, finding a product maybe.
Yeah, cost.
That simple act is being reshaped by AI, and the ripple effects are huge, especially for the people creating the information you're looking for.
Absolutely. We're really diving into what happens when AI moves beyond just, indexing the web and starts answering your questions directly.
Right.
And the material we've gathered, it really pulls back the curtain on the impact this is having on publishers, news outlets, info sites, basically anyone relying on you clicking through to their stuff.
Exactly. And our mission today is to dig deep into this, pull out the key nuggets, and try to piece together what this rapidly changing landscape actually means, not just for them, but for you, the person trying to stay informed.
Okay, so let's unpack the core change first. Big shift is really centered around features like Google's AI overviews.
Yeah, you see them all the time now.
You've definitely seen them, those boxes right at the top of the search results. They give you an AI-generated summary or a direct answer.
The big box, often kind of colorful, gives you the answer without needing to scroll or click anything else. Saves time, supposedly.
Exactly. The promises, speed, convenience, get the answer instantly. But the material we looked at highlights a key consequence.
Which is?
These AI features are leading to a pretty significant drop in people actually clicking through to the original source websites.
Okay, now that gets interesting. How significant are we talking? Is there, actual data showing this?
Oh, yeah. The data presented in the sources is quite striking. One analysis looks specifically at the top-ranking result, the one that usually gets the most clicks.
Sure, the number one spot.
Right. It found that when an AI overview is present, the average click-through rate for that number one spot drops by around 34.5%.
Whoa.
Yeah, compared to searches where no AI overview popped up.
Wow. So a third of the potential clicks for the top result could just be gone, evaporating.
That's the implication, yeah. And broader estimates cited suggest the cut in click-throughs for informational queries when these summaries appear could be anywhere from 40% up to maybe 60%.
40 to 60%, that's huge.
It is, and this data generally comes from comparing user behavior before and after these AI features became really widespread.
And it's not just a static summary box anymore. Right?
The
material also talks about this shift towards something more conversational.
Yeah.
Like a chatbot.
Exactly. Some search interfaces are moving towards what they call an AI mode. You interact with it conversationally.
Ask questions, get answers back.
Right? And in that model, the links to external sources, they can become even less prominent, maybe even unnecessary from the user's point of view.
Wow.
It sort of encourages you to stay right there within the search engine itself, turning it into the destination, not just the pathway.
So the search engine isn't just showing you where to find the answer, it's trying to be the answer itself.
Precisely. And we're seeing the effects already. The sources point to major news outlets reporting, significant drops in traffic.
Really?
Yeah, and they attribute it at least partly to these changes. There's one specific example mentioned of a major newspaper. Their share of search-driven traffic fell from 44% down to 36% over just 3 years.
So that's a substantial hit for any organization relying on that traffic.
It really is.
Okay, so clicks are dropping, often significantly.
Yeah.
But why is losing search traffic such a critical problem for these publishers? Let's break that down.
Well, it goes right to the heart of their traditional business model. I mean, for decades, publishers have relied heavily on getting users from search engines onto their websites.
That's how they make money, right?
Primarily, yeah. Once you're on their site, they can show you ads as a major revenue stream. And just as importantly, that trafficking is how they find readers who might eventually pay for a subscription.
So it funds the actual journalism, the research, the writing, everything that goes in to making the content in the first place.
Exactly. So when users get the core answer right there on the search page or through a chatbot,
They don't need to click.
they just don't have the same incentive to click through. Fewer clicks mean fewer ad views, less ad revenue, and fewer chances to turn casual readers into loyal subscribers.
It sounds like it directly threatens the whole economic engine supporting online publishing, particularly for original reporting.
It does. Now, it's worth noting the search companies themselves, they've offered a slightly different take on this, haven't they?
Yeah. The material mentions some pushback, claims that it's not all bad news.
They have. The search company has stated that overall, these AI features can lead to higher total search traffic, more engagement overall.
Oh, wow.
However, they've also been careful to point out that this doesn't necessarily mean more traffic for individual publishers.
So the overall pie might be bigger, but the publisher's slices could be shrinking.
Potentially. And the study cited in the material really emphasized the publisher's perspective, presenting data that seems to contradict claims that links inside the AI overviews get clicked more than standard organic links.
So the data publishers see on their end often tells a different story than maybe the overall search volume numbers suggest.
It seems that way. It's a nuanced picture, for sure. But the underlying mechanism seems clear by answering questions directly, much like the older featured snippets did, actually.
Right, the little boxes we used to see.
Exactly. AI overviews contribute to what we call zero-click searches. The user finds what they need without leaving the results page.
Got it.
And even when sources are cited in the AI summary, there are often multiple sources listed, which tends to, spread the clicks out thinly.
Diffuses the traffic. So no single publisher gets that big chunk they might have received if they were just the number one organic result.
Precisely.
So for publishers, this isn't just another SEO tweak they need to figure out. It feels more like the fundamental plumbing of the internet is changing under their feet.
That's a really good way to put it. They're grappling with some truly existential questions now.
Like what?
Like, what's the economic value of our intellectual property when AI models can just ingest and summarize it? What does the future actually hold for web traffic, for ad revenue? And how do we maintain our brand, our value, when AI can generate content so quickly that might look similar, at least on the surface?
It feels like they're being forced to redefine their entire purpose in this new landscape.
They really are. And the material digs into different views on what's causing this sort of perfect storm. While the AI shift is obviously huge,
Undeniable.
some argue publishers may be contributed by becoming overly reliant on SEO traffic over the years, perhaps neglecting other ways to build direct relationships with readers.
That's an interesting point. Less focus on newsletters or perhaps, maybe.
Perhaps. There's also the long-term trend away from those old dedicated links pages towards just linking within the text. Some see that as an earlier step in de-emphasizing clicking away.
Oh yeah, I remember those whole page just called links. Ancient history now.
Feels like it. Other factors mentioned include generational shifts, younger people often finding news on social media instead of search.
Right, TikTok, Instagram.
The impact of paywalls making content less accessible, maybe concerns about a drop in content quality sometimes, or even just a broader decline in trust in traditional media.
So it's likely a mix of things.
Probably a confluence of forces, yeah. But the AI search changes are definitely a major and very recent accelerator, a catalyst.
Given all these pressures then, how are publishers trying to adapt? What strategies are they exploring based on what we've seen?
Well, they're aggressively looking for alternative revenue streams. That's clear.
Makes sense.
A significant one highlighted is licensing their huge content archives directly to the AI companies.
Selling the data they need for training.
Exactly. We're seeing major news organizations making deals with big tech and AI firms. Some sources mention partnerships like the New York Times with Amazon or The Atlantic with OpenAI, basically getting paid for their valuable historical content.
Okay, so if their content is the foundation for these new AI systems, they want compensation for providing that foundation. Smart.
That's the idea. They're also exploring potential revenue-sharing models or licensing frameworks for when their content is specifically used or referenced by AI chatbots, though that whole area is still really evolving.
Something to be figured out.
Definitely. The money side, they're rethinking content strategy. How can they focus on creating truly unique, high-value stuff?
Things AI can't easily replicate.
Exactly. In-depth investigative journalism, original research, really distinctive analysis, things users will actively seek out even if they see a summary first. Content that's indispensable that you have to go to the source for.
Makes sense. Become the destination again, not just the stuff on the search results page.
Right. They're also adjusting their SEO approach, shifting focus maybe from just driving mass traffic numbers
Yeah,
to driving actual conversions, achieving specific business goals, maybe incorporating more branded content, clearer calls to action within articles, trying to make the traffic they do get more valuable.
get more out of fewer visitors.
And of course, developing specific tactics to try and lessen the impact of these zero-click searches.
It sounds like a really complex strategic pivot. They're figuring out how to be visible to AI while also ensuring their own survival and, their value proposition.
It really is. And this leads to some broader questions too about information quality and trustworthiness in this whole new ecosystem.
How so?
Well, the material raises a critical point. AI summaries, while convenient, can sometimes just be wrong, inaccurate.
Right, we've all heard about AI hallucinations, generating confident-sounding stuff that's just false.
It happens, and this raises a question for you as the user.
Mm-hmm.
If you still feel the need to verify the AI's answer, maybe click through to check the original sources it lists.
Wow.
Does the AI summary truly deliver that promised efficiency? Does it really save you time, especially for complex or important topics?
That's a good point. If the AI is just a starting point that still needs fact-checking, maybe the old way of clicking a link wasn't so inefficient after all.
Exactly. And think about this. In a world where AI can churn out vast amounts of content, really increasing the sheer volume.
Including potentially low-quality stuff or misinformation.
Right. In that environment, the sources suggest that trusted information providers become even more vital. That brand reputation for accuracy, for reliability, becomes a key differentiator, a reason for users to seek them out directly or subscribe.
That makes intuitive sense.
Mm-hmm.
In a sea of potentially AI-generated noise, knowing where to find vetted, reliable information becomes incredibly valuable.
It really does. The material also explores a more maybe optimistic angle too, using AI tools inside the newsroom.
AI helping journalists.
Potentially, yeah, could leverage AI to assist journalists, sifting through massive data sets, spotting trends, accessing archives more easily, maybe even helping draft initial text.
Okay.
But the key, emphasized in the material, is keeping the human journalist firmly in the loop, applying judgment, ensuring accuracy, maintaining style, providing the nuance AI still struggles with.
So AI augmenting human expertise, not replacing it.
That's the idea, AI as a powerful research and drafting assistant, with the human journalist as the editor, the checker, the final arbiter.
Okay, so looking ahead, what's the consensus from the material? What do publishers need to do?
The takeaway seems to be that publishers need comprehensive, long-term strategies. This involves fundamentally transforming how they create content, possibly using AI tools, finding new ways to use and monetize their archives.
Right, the licensing deals.
Forging strategic alliances, maybe with AI vendors, maybe even with other publishers. And crucially, establishing clear internal rules, governance, policies for using AI to protect their brand and manage the risks.
Sounds like a massive, necessary overhaul.
It is. And finally, there's this fascinating, almost circular problem raised in the sources. You could call it the Ouroboros dilemma.
The ancient symbol, the snake eating its own tail.
Exactly that. Think about it. If these advanced AI models rely heavily on the vast amounts of high-quality content on the open web, including the stuff produced by these publishers,
Yeah, for their training data.
what ultimately happens to the quality and availability of that crucial data if the very publishers creating it are financially weakened or even driven out of business by the AI systems themselves?
The AI starves the source that feeds it,
Yeah,
potentially degrading its own future training data down the line. That's a powerful loop to consider.
it really underscores how interconnected this whole information ecosystem is.
So bringing it all together then, AI search offers users, unprecedented speed and convenience by answering things directly. But this fundamental shift is creating significant, maybe even existential challenges for the traditional ways online publishing and journalism have been supported.
The landscape is clearly being reshaped, no doubt about it. It's forcing publishers to make some really difficult decisions, fundamentally rethink their strategies, their business models, even the role they play in getting information out to people.
And for you listening to this, navigating this evolving digital space, it means being aware of these changes as AI continues to reshape how you access information. Here's maybe a question to mull over. In this world of quick AI summaries, how much value do you place on the depth, the trust, the original reporting that comes from traditional sources? And how might your own information habits need to adapt to make sure those sources can actually survive and still reach you?